All right, so today we're gonna dive into something that I think is a real pain point for a lot of chief product officers and chief revenue officers,
Yeah.
and that is their data.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about like the big data lakes and all that stuff. We're talking about like the really valuable data
Right.
that's like scattered all over the place, like in customer comments, free-form text fields, and then you've got your
Uh,
HubSpot and your Vitally and your Salesforce and
yeah, you've got all these different sources of data, and they're all in different formats, and they're not really talking to each other. And
yeah,
so you're sitting on this gold mine of information,
yeah.
but it's really hard to actually get to it and make sense of it.
Right, exactly. And, think about like if you were trying to do a pricing model overhaul,
Right.
which is like a massive undertaking for any company,
Yeah.
you need to understand, what's working, what's not, what customers truly value.
Mm.
And so imagine trying to like manually dig through
Mhm.
years of old quotes and deal notes and contracts and like
It sounds like a nightmare.
it sounds incredibly time consuming and prone to errors.
Yeah, it is. And I can tell you that firsthand.
Oh, really?
At Fortanix, we recently went through a pretty significant pricing model overhaul, and
Oh, yeah.
and we had all of the challenges that you're talking about. We had tons of data,
Okay.
but it lived in so many different places and in so many different formats that it was really difficult to extract any kind of meaningful insights from it.
So you were living this data nightmare.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So we've painted this picture. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Critical data is trapped. It's hard to access.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of talk about, artificial intelligence
Right.
potentially being the answer to this.
Yeah, the idea of being able to just ask a question in plain English.
Right.
And have the AI go and pull all of the relevant information from all of these different systems
Right.
and give you an answer.
Sounds like science fiction.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the potential, I think, is huge for AI to really help companies make better decisions, faster decisions.
So give me an example of like a question that you could ask.
Sure. So imagine being able to ask something like, what are the main reasons why enterprise customers who adopted our premium feature last quarter are churning?
Oh, wow.
And then the AI could go and look at your CRM data,
Yeah.
your customer success platform data, your support tickets,
Right.
and pull all of that information together and give you a really clear data-backed answer.
Right.
And that would help you to understand what's going on and what you need to do to fix it.
So this is where it gets really interesting, I think, is
Huh?
because the data that we're talking about here, we're
Yes.
talking about pricing strategies, we're
Yeah.
talking about customer feedback, we're talking about deal specifics.
Mm-hmm.
This is really sensitive information.
Yes, very sensitive.
And the thought of just feeding all of that into like a general AI or a public large language model,
Mm.
which, for those who aren't familiar, it's just a very powerful type of AI that can, understand and generate human-like text.
Mm-hmm.
That raises some real red flags, I think, about, data security and confidentiality.
Absolutely.
You don't want that information getting into the wrong hands.
No, you don't. And I think for any company that's dealing with sensitive customer data or business data, the risks of using off-the-shelf AI are just too high.
Right.
You've got data breaches, you've got regulatory issues, you've got security vulnerabilities,
Mhm.
and so you need to be very careful about how you're using AI with your data.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Are we just stuck with the old way of, manually digging through spreadsheets?
Right.
Or is there a way to use AI without, putting our data at risk?
I think there is, and this is where we start to look at potential solutions.
Okay.
So imagine a product that could be deployed within your own secure environment. So
Okay.
your company's servers or your private cloud. And that would ensure that all of your sensitive data stays within your control.
So you're basically bringing the AI to your data rather than
Exactly.
sending your data out to the AI.
Right, and I think that's a really important distinction because it addresses a lot of the security concerns that we've been talking about.
Right.
But it's not just about security.
Okay.
It's also about control.
Yeah.
You want to be able to choose which AI models you're using. You want to be able to manage those models. You want to make sure that they're respecting your existing data access policies.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that it's easy to use.
Yeah, ease of use, I think, is critical here, especially for busy leaders.
Right. CPOs and CROs, they don't have time to learn how to code or to become data scientists.
Right.
They need a tool that's easy to use and that can give them the insights they need quickly and easily.
And what about like the connections to all these different systems that we were talking about before,
Right.
like HubSpot and Salesforce and so on?
Yeah. So I think another really important aspect of this is that it needs to be easy to connect to all of your different data sources. So
Hmm.
you don't want to have to go through a long and complex integration project just to get your systems talking to each other.
Right.
You want something that's out of the box, ready to go.
Plug and play.
Exactly. And then from a financial perspective, it needs to be affordable.
Right.
It needs to be a solution that offers a clear and compelling ROI for businesses.
So to kind of sum up everything we've talked about here,
Yeah.
we've got CPOs and CROs who
Hmm.
are struggling with this flood of data.
Hmm.
It's valuable data, but it's scattered. It's unstructured.
Right.
And it makes it incredibly difficult to make these crucial decisions like overhauling your pricing.
Hmm.
AI offers a really promising way to extract insights
Yeah.
from this data,
Yeah.
but the security risks of using just, generic AI with this really sensitive company data
Hmm.
are a major obstacle.
They are. And I think what's really interesting to watch is how this space is going to evolve. How are we going to develop solutions that can overcome this obstacle,
Right.
that can bring the power of AI into secure, controlled environments
Mhm.
so that companies can leverage their data for real strategic advantage without compromising confidentiality?
That's a great point. And it leads me to a thought that I'll leave with everyone listening here is
Yeah.
as this AI technology advances and these secure data analysis solutions become more readily available,
Hmm.
what other key strategic business decisions that are currently just too complex or too time-consuming to make
Right.
might suddenly become achievable?
It's a really exciting time to be in this space.
Yeah, it really is. So much potential and so much to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.